Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call the meeting to order. Roll call. Mrs. Burns, please.
Mr. Condon?
Here.
Ms. Boyle?
Here.
Mr. Burnett?
Here.
Mr. Feather?
Present.
Mrs. Hallenbeck?
Present.
Mr. Morris is absent. Mr. Parentano?
Here.
Mr. Rudy?
Here.
Mr. Sullivan?
Here.
A quorum is present.
Thank you. I'd ask everyone to please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everyone. Before our meeting this evening, the board met in executive session to discuss matters of employment issues related to labor relations and potential or current litigations. Any announcements, Mrs. Burns?
No announcements.
Superintendent's report. Mr. Jones, please.
Good evening, everyone. A couple of updates. We did at Herbert Hoover join with the Peace Center and a variety of other organizations, the school district, the National Federation of Teachers, Middletown Township, in participating in a show of unity around the idea of respect, diversity, and inclusiveness following two recent acts of racist vandalism. It was a strong night for the community. A couple hundred people, I would say, participated in that march. And there's going to be a follow-up this Thursday at Middletown Township. The Peace Center is coordinating a town hall meeting, and that meeting Thursday, September 28th at 7 o'clock. Here in the district, the elementary and middle school students, as part of a focus on district belief statements, displayed an effort of unity, tolerance, and respect as a community with a across the district, Hands Across the District initiative. There's a really nice video done, again, by Mr. Stanley that displayed that effort. That happened Friday of that same week. We've had a lot of beginning school year activities, including the distribution of 5,300 brand new Chromebooks. The Chromebook is really taking the place of the laptop here in the public school world, the world of K-12 education. And so our technology department did a phenomenal job in getting those devices out in the hands of teachers, elementary, middle, and high school. In addition to that, instrumental music. I don't know if you saw this video on our Facebook page, but our instrumental music teachers do a really nice job of getting out to our elementary schools. They play the instruments. They show the students what they're all about in terms of how they work in the different numbers, or they pick different songs. I said to them, it's really important to pick the right song because kids are going to choose their instrument based on the songs that they're choosing. But they do a really fun, nice job of introducing kids to instrumental music at the elementary school to help them make that choice. Comprehensive plan. Mr. Meehan, as you know, board members, has compiled the comprehensive plan for the school district. It's a 3-year plan that was submitted and ready to go last year, but the Department of Education asked all school districts to wait a year. And so we're back again a year later. We'll have that plan on our website for a 30-day period, and it'll be up for approval either at the October or November board meeting in time to meet the new Pennsylvania Department of Ed deadline. I'm sorry? Well, there are a number of other items here. I'm just trying to pick and choose. But the high school did have 23 students participate in a week-long activity that's supported by the Lower Bucks County Chamber of Commerce. It was an opportunity to explore careers as well as participate in the running of simulated businesses. Neshaminy had the largest contingent of students participating. Those events for high school students are always very positive. When you get away and you're together for a week on any of these different summer activities for high school students. And our kids came back with a very rich and rewarding experience. And then the other thing I want to point out is the high school jazz band. They have been selected to perform at the Pennsylvania Music Educators Association Conference that's going to be held in Lancaster in April. There's about 130 bands that applied for that highly competitive showcase, and our band, under the direction of Dan Weiner, will be performing a 40-minute concert for music educators across the Commonwealth. So that's really impressive, great opportunity for them, and speaks well of the program here. We've talked about music a lot here at Neshaminy. That's all I have in terms of highlights from my superintendent's report. I do have one other item that came in the mail this week. I just wanted to take a moment to read from something from the Pennsylvania School Boards Association. And they would like for us, and I think appropriately so, to recognize a few individuals here. The legacy of the school board service is firmly embedded in the history of our nation and its commitment to public education. The Pennsylvania School Boards Association was founded in 1895, has a rich history as the first school boards association established in the United States. The consummate board member is described as an ethical, principled individual with deep desire to serve. School directors have strong belief in the value of public schools and local control of public education for the benefit of all students. Today, school districts are expected to offer more services along with world-class instruction with limited resources. These expectations provide tremendous challenge for school directors who are unpaid volunteers who work tirelessly, giving their free time away from their families to contribute to the schools and the communities they serve. PSBA has been recognizing the contributions of dedicated local school directors with long-term service since 1983. The honor roll is the association's way of saying thank you to those individuals who exemplify leadership by giving unselfishly of their time and talents for the betterment of the public schools serving students across this great Commonwealth. It gives me pleasure this evening to recognize the following board members for their service and being part of this rich legacy. And so they recognize people with 8 years of service and every 4 years thereafter. And so I have 8-year honor roll school board service recognition for Mr. Scott Congdon. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I have another 8-year certificate that I will award to Mr. Morris. Mr. Morris had some surgery recently and is not able to be here with us this evening. But I also have a 12-year honor roll school board service certificate, and this one goes out to Ms. Boyle, Irene Boyle.
Does a 12-year certificate also come with a free psychological exam, or is that extra?
People have asked about you.
Yeah, 12 years, that's a lot of work.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe. At this time, we're going to move to public comment. Once again, please state your name, area you reside, your profession, and please no personal attacks. Mrs. Burns, please.
Steve Broadus.
Good evening. I have two things that I would like to state. One is about, I was very happy that the Business Operation Committee got started with the budget process very early in this year. I personally just think the budget is, whether stated or not, is part of every agenda that the school board has, because that's the overriding factor in what we do. So I think getting started early is great. I think that the budget assumption addresses both the needs of and the aspirations of the board to seek solutions and alternative answers in a more constructive time frame, and I applaud you for that. I think it's fantastic, getting off to an early start. I would like to point out a problem area in some classrooms, particularly in those classrooms in which autistic students are being mainstreamed. Now, I know they must be mainstreamed, and I applaud, the fact that they are mainstreamed. However, after speaking to reliable people, that these classrooms are not getting enough instructional aids to help out with the autistic students. You're taking kids, putting them in there that may or may not act out at whenever they want, and they're not getting, we don't have enough instructional assistants to help out with these classrooms. So, my proposal is to get in touch with the local universities and community colleges and work with them to do the following. Explain to them the problem, propose and implement a program for instructional aides to help with the autistic students in the same way that these schools provide student teachers. And these would be student instructional assistants. If they are, if they are trying to get a teaching certificate, or they want to have an education as a major, special ed as a certificate, I think they ought to have student teachers for that, for those purposes specifically. Now, finally, this is an informational question. It happens to be part of the agenda. How does someone not employed by the district ever find out there's a coaching job available? That's the question.
It's advertised. It's been on our Facebook. We put it out on our Facebook.
It's on
our website.
Okay, it's just on the website.
Well,
I don't know if it's on the website.
no, I know it's on our Facebook because I saw the Facebook ad go out.
Okay.
I believe it's on our website as well, but I'll double
Okay.
check that for you.
I don't do Facebook.
Jessica Finn.
Jessica Finn. You need my address too? Oh, I live in Neshaminy School District, and I am a stay-at-home mother. I spoke the first meeting on the 12th and felt very positive when I left here regarding the school nursing situation at Our Lady of Grace. I was very pleased that Superintendent Jones was nice enough to address the issue privately with my confidant, Nicole Weber, who was actually supposed to speak tonight, but she has some medical things going on right now. So here I am. So sorry if it's haphazard, because I found out at 5:30 I was going to be speaking again. We had a wonderful meeting regarding the school nursing situation. I felt like we were moving in the right direction. Superintendent Jones did discuss various approaches that he was going to look into as far as budgetary issues, staffing in other schools, the high school, things of that nature. He did provide me with the coding for the section where it mandates school nurses. I do want to read one paragraph. He gave me a couple excerpts out of the sheet that he had, and it missed this one paragraph that actually I just reread and was quite surprised. And I'd like to read that to you real quick. It says, school nurse services are considered to be one of the mandated services, same as examinations and screens, and include the same nursing functions as those provided to students in public school buildings, such as assessment of school health care needs, development of appropriate plans of care, medication, administration, first aid and emergency care, etc. Neither the law nor regulation distinguish differences in the level of service to public versus non-public schools. I find that very important. I know that our principal, Mrs. Lewis, who has joined me this evening, has been in contact with Superintendent Jones. Also, Anthony Devlin has reached out to her, indicating that Ms. Colleen McElhaney will be reinstalled in our schools on Mondays and Wednesdays from 8. Sorry, I just had that. I have too many papers. 8:20 to 12:20, Mondays and Wednesdays, to do healthcare screenings, but she would also be allowed to administer care to us during that time, should an emergency situation arise. We are still going to pursue more than that. We do appreciate that. It's making headway, I think, to where we want to be, but it's not exactly where we want to be at this point. We will follow through with the legislator and follow up with the mandate in Harrisburg and see if we can move that along forward to get additional care. We have, at the time, supplemented nursing certified volunteers that fill in during crucial hours as far as lunch and recess, but that's not guaranteed at any time. But I do, want to extend my deepest thanks to Mr. Jones for really just jumping on this with us and trying to do what he can on the end of the school board to see that we can move in a positive direction that's really going to satisfy the needs of all the students of Neshaminy School District. I am a taxpayer. I do feel like it is a basic necessity. My child, I did not bring that up, he has a peanut and a tree nut allergy. He has an EpiPen everywhere I go. It's scary. It can be life and death, matter of seconds. And if a nurse is not there and somebody is not there to trained in the EpiPen, I might not have my son. So that's my whole purpose of doing this. So I apologize, but I thank you all very much for listening to me and hope that we can move forward with this. And I anticipate and I'm looking forward to moving forward with you guys. And thanks for your time.
Jill Bograf.
Good evening. My name's Jill Volgraff. I live in the Neshaminy School District, Langhorne. I am a registered nurse by trade. My children attend Our Lady of Grace, which I'm here to discuss, just like Ms. Finn. It's very concerning to me that all of you that are here, that love children, are here just to advance their education, their health, their safety, have kind of made that decision to take that away from our children. So I was told by the nurse a few weeks ago that we would have 4 hours a week. I'm understanding that we're increasing that to 8 hours a week. And I'm just wondering that if your child is in the Neshaminy School District and in public schools, would you be comfortable with having a professional in the building for 8 hours in a week? I understand that, our school probably does not have the medically fragile children that a lot of the public schools do, and I very much appreciate that. But we also have the kids that have medical issues, can have an emergency at any moment. And it's very concerning to me that we have to rely on lay people, the secretaries that will hand out, kind of make a call in a moment's notice, and not have a medical professional that can treat our children just like all of your children would be treated when they go to school every day. When they leave my site, I would like to know that they're taken care of. I think that that's all I have. So please, I know that you guys have your constraints. I would appreciate, really heartfelt, deep thoughts that our children deserve the same type of coverage by a medical professional that all of yours do. So thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Okay, at this time, I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes, treasurer's report, check register and procurement, card purchases, investments, and exonerations. Can I get a second for that motion? Second. Mr. Feather with a second. Any questions, comments, or concerns? Be it there none, all in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Question, is this the August minutes?
Yes, well, the minutes are from, I'll give you the dates. It's the public board meeting from 2017, 2018, it would be August 15th, and the public works section on September 12th.
Okay, I'd like to abstain from the voting for the August one since I wasn't here.
Okay, that's fine. Okay, so we have yays, no nays, and one abstention, right? Correct? Am I correct, board? Okay. We're going to move on to the certificate personnel. I'd like to make a motion for items 3.01 through 3.07, retirements, resignations, leaves of absences, return from leave, appointments, co-curricular resignations, co-curricular appointments, summer work assignments. Can I get a second for those, please? Mrs. Hollenbeck, thank you. Any questions, comments, or concerns on those issues? Those items, be it there none, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions. Passes 8-0. Going to move on to the personnel for support. Ms. Hollenbeck, please.
I'd like to make a motion to approve items 4.01 through 4.08, which are retirements, resignations, leave of absence, appointments, co-curricular resignations, co-curricular appointments, ancillary appointments, summer work assignments, and van driver hourly rate.
Thank you for that motion. Can I get a second, please? Second. Mr. Sullivan with a second. Any questions, comments, or concerns? Be it there none, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? I believe it was 8-0. Educational development overnight trip. Ms. Boyle, please.
I'd like to make a motion to approve item number 5.01, which is an overnight trip.
Thank you, Ms. Boyle, for that motion. Can I get a second, please? Mr. Burnett with a second. Thank you. Any questions, comments, concerns? Be it there none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions. Passes 8-0. Business operations, Ms. Hollenbeck, please.
I'd like to make a motion to approve items 6.01 through 6.03, which is the election of the 2018 PSBA officers, contract with the BCIU number 22 for food services, and the board investment options.
Thank you for that motion. Can I get a second, please? Ms. Boyle with the second. She got in there just before you, Bob. Any questions, comments, or concerns? Be it there none, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions. Item 601 through 603 passes 8-0. At this time, I'd like to ask the board if there was any other board business that needed to be brought up at this time. Be it there none at this time, we're going to move to our second public comment. Once again, if you'd like to speak, please approach the podium, state your name, area you reside, your profession, and please no personal attacks. Okay. Oh, would you like to make comment? Yes. Oh, please do. Come on up to the podium and hit the little red button on the microphone.
Oh, thank you. My name is Isaac Noor. I live in Langhorne and attend Our Lady of Grace School. I would like to say that I believe that every school should have a school nurse, and I would like to ask you to please give us back our school nurse. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Isaac. Okay. I don't see anybody else coming up here. At this time, I'm going to move to board comment. Does anybody have any board comment they'd like to? Ms. Hollenbeck, please.
I just wanted to congratulate the football team and the King and Queen for homecoming. It was a great event on Saturday, so for those of you that were there, it was an actually absolutely great time. So,
Of course, Steve, please.
Thank you, Mr. Condon. I congratulate again.
It must be the name, whether it's on the board or in public.
And that's what it is.
Yeah, Steve
It's all
Redis.
Steve's are the same.
Yeah, Steve.
I want to congratulate again our board members for 8 and 12 years of service. This job requires a lot of time, and to do it for the length and period that those board members have, it shows real dedication. So I appreciate that. They're very good people. I'm glad to serve with you. Mr. Rodas brought up the budget assumptions. I too am very happy that we're able to start much earlier this year. We have lots of challenges ahead of us. Revenue is not growing at the same rate that the expenditures is growing. The state mandates that are funded, but mostly unfunded, are going to be more challenging this year than last year, but the administration is going to do their best, and over these next couple months we'll work towards that first presentation, and then we'll move forward from there with respect to our children's needs and our what our taxpayers can afford, and hopefully by the end we'll come to a compromise that suits all needs. On that subject, if the public is interested, this coming October 3rd, Tuesday, at Ben Salem High School. There's going to be a presentation on school funding about how lack of funding is going to cause future cuts to education. For anybody in the public that's interested, might be something good to attend to get a more deeper look into what the state provides and what the state doesn't provide. Most people probably know the state has not passed the revenue for the budget that they passed. They're still fighting over it, which means even though we're told we're going to receive dollars, we haven't received those dollars yet. And this falls right into the budget. We're making budget assumptions. We're assuming that the state's going to pay their bill. But we'll see what happens and what it finally comes out to be, and that's going to tell us how much more we're going to have to rely on our existing tax base. And when we talk about state dollars, I want everybody to realize it's not someone else's money. It's still our money. It just comes from a different source. It's other taxes that you pay that are bringing it back here. So it's going to be significant. We voted on a motion tonight for board investment options. That's going to give us a little bit more leeway in securities that we can invest in to hopefully gain a higher rate of return. Something we're starting to explore. It's not going to by any means solve the problem, but it will hopefully help supplement. And the parents that came back about the nurse, I'm glad to hear that you've had some meetings with the administration, and we've been able to provide some supplemental nursing. I agree with what you feel we should be providing, and we will provide. And this board will work within the limits of what we are required to do. And if we're required to do something and we're not doing it, then we have to change something. So we'll work with our administration to make sure that we are fulfilling the commitments that we have. And it's everybody's children. I agree with that 100%. It's not public school kids, private school kids, parochial school kids. They're all our kids. We want to take care of them to the best we can, but we can honestly, we can only take care of them within the limits that the state sets for us to do. And if we're doing that, fine. If we're not doing it, then we got to fix something. So thank you for coming out again and voicing your concerns over the matter. Thank you.
I'd just like to thank the members of the board and the administration for welcoming me to the board and for helping me ease into and get my feet wet and dumping a lot of work on me and showing me that there's going to be a lot of work to do. But I'm looking forward to it, so I want to thank you.
I'm sorry for where they sat you as well in the board. Between anybody else? Ms. Boyle? Oh, Mr. Feather, go ahead.
One last thing, yes. Congratulations to our football team. There is one more home game on October 13th. So if you can make it out, please make it out and support our team.
I think the challenge of being a long-term school board director is that everyone talks about money all the time, and sometimes it's very difficult to remind yourself, every day of why you are really here, and that's to maintain all the programs for the children, no matter what programs there are, in spite of the fact that Harrisburg doesn't seem to be helping us very much, or people are very much involved in how much taxes they have to pay. So I think we have to try to remember that it's the children first.
All right, anybody else? I'd like to thank Steve for the nice words, and Irene for being here for my ears. I appreciate that. But it isn't something that we can just push off till next month or 6 months or a year from now. We started our budget process, as Steve complimented us on. Thank you, Steve. And our expenditures are going up yearly, not because we're necessarily adding programs or whatnot, but expenses go up. Our income, our revenues, our income is going down. So it's going to be a very, very difficult cycle for the budget this year. And this board moving forward after the new year is going to have their hands full. No one wants to get out that list that I was exposed to 8 years ago with how much each program cost, and if you were going to cut programs, how much money you could save. You'd be surprised at how little money these programs cost. Our expenditures obviously are for 72%, as Steve always says, for salaries and benefits. It's not necessarily the programs. So you'd be surprised. I don't want to get to that point where this board needs to discuss cutting, but different things, different ideas, different board members joining the board. I think the people that this board is going to be with moving forward, there's going to be a lot of good ideas out there. So I'm looking forward to seeing the new ideas, the new faces, and the new directions that Neshaminy goes to not only keep the programs we have, but hopefully increase the programs that we have available. But you got to find out how you do that with increasing prices and lowering revenues. With that said, once again, congratulations to Neshaminy. I thought it was going to be a good football game. It was a great football game. But Neshaminy, kept control of that game, and very proud of our team. The homecoming, the carnival that they had prior to the game, I went there as well, and I was very proud to say that not only was I an alumni, but a school board director for Neshaminy. With that being said, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn the meeting. Can I get a second, please? Ms. Hollenbach with the second. All in favor? Aye. Thank you, everyone. Good night.